well. Liz, I want to talk to you especially about Vladimir Kara-Murza, because most people don't know that name, even though they know opposition movement. What more can you tell us about him?
He was a really brave and prominent Kremlin critic. He was at times a journalist. He was also a political analyst, and he even ran for office for one of the opposition parties in Russia. He was on the radar of the Kremlin all the time, a thorn in President Putin's flesh. And he believes that he was almost poisoned, or perhaps poisoned slightly as a warning, twice by the FSB to try and get him to shut up. It didn't work. And he stayed on in Russia, even though he could have, with a British passport, moved here to London or even gone to the United States, where he had very many friends. In the end, he was picked up because he was an outspoken critic of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And President Putin apparently had had enough. His health was fragile. His family was very worried about him in jail. And it's interesting to note that now he's out. He's opted to go to the United States. He had many friends in the U.S. And I can remember seeing him as one of John McCain's pallbearers, because he and McCain had worked together on some human rights cases, and the late senator had a great deal of respect for him. He also wrote very bravely, continued to write columns critical of Putin's government and autocracy while he was in jail. And for those columns, he won the Pulitzer Prize for commentary.
Elizabeth Palmer, thank you.
Pleasure.
If you are just joining us, we are covering the very latest breaking news. We will continue covering it about the six-country prisoner swamp that has just occurred. I'm Lana Zak, and you are watching CBS News 24/7.
Bright, shiny faces.
When you wake up in the morning, we want to be your go-to team.
Nate has one of the quickest minds I've ever seen.
Tony has a way of making people feel comfortable.
Gail has this unbelievable knack to ask the question that you're asking at home.
I've been told I could talk to a tree, and that's pretty much true.
I don't go to work in the morning. I go for coffee with my two good friends, and we talk about the world.
Your morning routine just got better. CBS Mornings, weekdays at 7.
It didn't seem like anything could happen, because nothing ever happens in East Palestine, but it did.
Authorities released toxic fumes from 5 derailed train cars.
Resident, please evacuate.
Acute bronchitis due to chemical fumes.
Did you ever have these problems before the derailment?
No, ma'am.
This neighborhood's not safe no more.
We can assure the community that there's not vinyl chloride entering their communities.
Then why are there so many people feeling these various symptoms of bloody noses or difficulty breathing, bronchitis?
That's a hard question to answer.
We're talking about one of the most blatant releases of a mixture of some of the most toxic chemicals that we've seen in America.
I feel like now I have a duty to warn other communities. If my daughter has to watch me die of cancer, at least it saves someone else.
This case.
It's like a screenplay, something straight out of Hollywood.
But it's not fiction. It's 48 hours.
Human remains found this week.
4 families shattered.
There's no physical evidence.
The Nigeria protest, we are seeing that our youth are out there and they have absolutely stated their demands clearly, which I will read. But at the moment, I believe that the police has fired tear gas in Abuja. Yesterday, we saw operatives of the Rapid Response Squad of the Lagos Police Command, where they displayed a full display of might ahead of the end bad governors in Nigeria protest. The armed officers were seeing.
The best part of fame is making people feel good. Always send the people home happy.
Make every day.
Asum echozukaraka na-ego gị nri a.
Stream now on the free CBS News app.
Ka FM jụrụ gị today before I send the area. So my nwere azụ dịkwa ya.
Sightseers in space. The
Where else not there?
Seeing the Earth from space, it was so exhilarating.
Yeah.
The risks that come with the territory.
Or where I hear from particles of azo. There was no normal Titus azo in that soup.
If you had 1 out of 100 airplanes falling out of the sky, we'd have a public crisis.
Matukana say
On the free CBS News app.
franchise so as a talk about it like that. Are they possible?
24/7.
Okay, let's go. You guys good?
Hey,
All right, we good?
keep going. The clock, it's ticking.
Off we go.
60 minutes. 60 minutes.
60 minutes.
It's time for 60 Minutes, Sundays on CBS.
This is CBS.
I want more stare out one. Fast. Because okay, again reading Henry, I was very, very angry. Seriously.
Welcome in, everybody. I'm Reed Cowan. So, breaking news and a breakthrough to report today. Americans held in Russia about to go home. And it is a heartland head-to-head between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump in the race for the White House. Plus, we'll take you to the southern border of the United States with Mexico. Talks immigration. This is CBS News 24/7. Let's go.
I need to yourself.
Vice President Kamala Harris will very soon deliver a eulogy today for the
this year no make sense. But you can now honestly.
Right now addressing that congregation, paying tribute to that former lawmaker in the United States. We're going to take you back to Texas shortly, but first we have to get to that break.
Stick it to before.
Completing their biggest prisoner swap.
That's other like this.
This is a look right
now somehow.
Turkey's capital where that exchange happened. This exchange will bring Americans wrongfully detained by the months of negotiations. So we know right now 3 Americans in Russian prisons are on their way home, wheels up as we speak. Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich, Korean veteran Paul Whelan, and Russian-American radio journalist Alsu Kermasheva. We just heard from President Biden touting the success. Listen.
I question what can need the nobody close it, no matter what. I'm going to make you want to be for your job, but then even in Goma, you need the group people to celebrate with you, even for the good things.
Personally, thank them all again. I thank
yes.
Thank them again. Russia's released
Exactly.
prisoners. 8 Russians were being held.
Okay, wedding bye. You might everywhere the village now just guess when you did my friends from Malaysia, my club members in the NBC meeting, groups didn't belong to everywhere.
Today is a powerful example of why it's vital to have friends you can trust, work with, and depend upon.
President Biden there not only saying this is a major success, but punctuating the importance of allies. And we are in real-time tracking a wide range of reactions to this release. First of all, Paul Whelan's family has been without him for so many months. They released this statement saying, in part, quote, Paul Whelan is free.
I won't be stay with association.
Freedom of reality. They went on to say, we'd like to thank President Biden, Secretary of State Blinken, and National Security Advisor Sullivan.
Johnny, I'm okay. On there, but we're not putting an account.
We've also heard from the Wall Street
Journal. I'm the chairman. Don't make me anything but I'm going to go there. I want to happen. So they must give account.
Because of broad advocacy for his release. CBS News, senior White House and political.
I'm more like a scandal
because President Biden. Yes, this was political. But that announcement was personal. So let's talk about the pieces on the board, so to speak. How did this swap come together, Ed?
It's been in the works for quite a while.
Last
As you've reported there, 7 different countries and some pretty significant diplomacy by several senior U.S. officials and the vice president, speaking with counterparts in Germany, in Russia, in Turkey, and those Eastern European countries involved in today's swap. The president making clear in those White House comments just a little while ago that this is a personal.
It's been 20 ringgit before, right?
Family, that there are families that are still hoping for the.
Because they were 30. Before, a government go 70, you give 50. Wait, or where if in Akawa, or where if in Akawa, even can't themselves. A question mean complete more than he sent it today. I'm very angry with still send it today, sir.
President Trump has said
Yep.
he could get Evan Gershkovich back. The president said, well, then why didn't he do so when he was president? Gershkovich was.
He sent it today, sir, for every normal price.
The point being, there are dozens of Americans detained overseas. If the previous administration was serious about it, they should have done something about it. We are expecting that the president will head, as he said in his remarks, to Joint Base Andrews here outside of Washington later today when those families
But
return home to
he ain't got hold. I told you that day. That one, he ain't to go 20 ringgit. This one, Nkana we go on and keep it today.
himself was making calls on that fateful Sunday afternoon.
Imagine, he and a look at 40 ringgit too. But you do it. Kana Gagodi.
Just an hour before
Kana Gagodi.
that released a letter telling the world of his intention.
No wahala. I transfer America sent to you. Mother then was going to Malaysia.
Was in direct
To
talks
Jody.
with the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz about
Oh,
some of the
day.
details of this to try to compel the German government.
Oh, Tinubu so now cause the problem because if he call logo from buying, and then yes, 1 million naira is 2,000 plus. Economic akwụ ụgwọ ụlọ n'obodo a. Asịrị na nkọrọ 1 million na nkwụ ụgwọ ụlọ gọbube. Nah.
She
He
too
can.
is directly involved in these negotiations at key points to get Germany to come along.
She's also echoed in recent minutes what Secretary of State
Yeah.
has said, which is we are going to vow to continue getting Americans home who are wrongfully detained, not only in Russia, but in other countries as well. Do you think this will embolden them to be able to continue to push for more Americans to be released?
It's all right, no problem.
Oh, that work continues on a daily basis, Reed. There are some Americans known to be detained in countries all over the world. There may be cases, frankly,
Right.
that are not as well
Yeah.
publicized just yet. But there is an entire office at the State Department that focuses on this. It's a major priority for the president and his National Security Council. And in this case, the CIA was involved because of its relationships with Russian spy agencies. So it remains a top-of-mind goal of this president. And the kind of
nationwide.
exhibited today,
He will stay away.
the bold move,
He will stay in your houses.
to
He will
make this
be
happen is the
an
kind of
scapegoat.
work, at least
They will
in the foreign
hate
policy
you
space, we
and
should
they will waste you.
continue
Evil, we
for
have
the
had
rest of the
enough.
president's term.
Oh,
Now
you
he doesn't have
expect
to
enough.
worry about his own political future. Remember, he signaled in his
They
remarks
can
that
get
he
what
would be
we-
working on big things domestically and in the
We'll
foreign
be
space.
strong enough.
This is certainly a
For
good
this
step,
contest,
and there
let
are
us
several
be
more
weak.
cases yet to come of detained
Let
Americans.
those ones who are strong, let them stand on the
Keith, thank you
streets.
so much for that.
Evils,
CBS
be
News
weak.
Intelligence and National
To
Security
sit
reporter
at home.
Olivia Gosses.
If there's anything at home
You just heard
that will be effective,
about this
not the one you have done on Mondays,
and the foreign
let it be the
space
one that will happen at this contest.
of that.
As one of the leaders of this country,
Which nations really
and as one of the leaders from the southeastern region, that you love and you have confidence in,
Officials who are intimately involved
I'm
in
telling you,
negotiations have described them as
if you have never shown weakness before, let it be shown now. Igbos, we have shown strength in civil war. We have shown strength in agitation. We have shown strength in fighting for IPOB and MASOB and all the rest of them. He's sitting at home. Please be weak. Because they were looking for opportunity to slaughter you. Sit at home.
They're looking for opportunity to slaughter. I know you want to speak, but I want to give Dr. Patti the opportunity to speak on some of the stories that are discussed.
I said in the morning when I was doing the review of the reactions, from the states, basically, that almost all the state governors have called for calm, they've called for peace, whether it's Kwara, Kogi, Yobe, Zamfara, Kano, where the protesters are now also on the streets. The governor, Abba Yusuf, also said, well, the people can protest, but please just make sure you are peaceful. In Bayelsa, Governor Doyediri told people to go to work. In Imo State, we understand there is no protester on the streets, And then you have Lagos State. Ogun went to court, got an expert order. Kwara went to court, got an expert order. But in Lagos, Governor Sanwo-Olu took the additional step of addressing the people in a 20-minute televised address.